Welcome to Thrive in Design, a podcast about making money in beautiful interiors as it relates to product-based businesses in the interior design industry. Each week, we'll discuss innovative strategies on how to approach product development and design sales in a shifting market. I'm your host, Nicole Lashae Ben.
This episode was brought to you by Design Pool. Are you an interior designer looking to create a truly unique experience for your clients? Meet Design Pool, the game-changing resource for specifying materials like wall coverings, upholstery, flooring, window films, and so much more, all in one easy-to-use site. Imagine having access to an online library filled with award-winning designs ready to inspire your next project. With Design Pool, you can browse, dream, and then seamlessly connect with digital printers to turn those ideas into one-of-a-kind final products. Whether you're crafting a bold statement piece or a cohesive, customized design for an entire space, Design Pool helps you stand out in the industry. Ready to bring your vision to life? Visit designpoolpatterns.com today and start creating designs as unique as your clients. Design Pool, where inspiration meets innovation. Welcome back for another episode of the Thrive in Design podcast. I am so happy to have you guys here. We have been rocking and rolling for season 7 of this podcast. And if you're new here, welcome. If you are a seasoned listener of the Thrive in Design podcast, welcome back. Over the last few episodes, we've talked about everything from storytelling through visuals. We've talked to one of my clients over at Decorator Industries about his story and his collaboration with my team at Thrive in Design. And for this episode, I really want to talk about a topic that has come up over and over and over again, probably for the last 2 years, but especially over the last 12 months. And this is a topic that is near and dear to me because I was a rep at one point. If you don't know, at one point I was a sales rep, A&D sales rep, pounding the pavement in New York City and the DC and Baltimore market for a little over 10 years. I've sold everything from laminates to wall coverings, quartz countertops, textiles, you name it, and have called on accounts that have done a variety of design from hospitality to corporate to commercial and beyond. So as I bring up this topic, it's something that I've talked to a lot of sales reps about, and I'm super excited to get into it today. Now, as I've attended so many trade shows over the last year, I've attended High Point Market, both spring and fall market, NeoCon, HD Expo, BDNY, and I feel like there's a few others that I'm missing right now. At each of the trade shows, I got the opportunity to talk with some amazing reps of amazing brands. And even in discovery calls, actually, that I've had with my clients, this topic comes up over and over again. And the topic is, now that we are in this post-pandemic society, and I'm putting that in air quotes, even though you can't see me, how do we stay relevant, or how do we be innovative or think outside of the box to get in front of our clientele? And you might know very well that before the pandemic, our industry was very used to traditional sales. Sales calls would look like creating and scheduling an appointment at a design firm for either a CEU presentation, product presentation, or a little mini vendor trade show, or scheduling an appointment directly with the designer to go over their project needs and come up with some recommendations for them. Maybe it was even dropping off samples and updating a library. And it was super easy, well, at least for me and a lot of reps that I know, it was super easy to get into those firms that way. Now we're in this post-pandemic society where things have shifted. The main thing that we have seen that has shifted is the age range of the specifiers. So there's tons of research out there, even from ThinkLab, one of the most reputable market research companies in our industry, that shares that over 50% of specifiers are either millennial and Gen Z right now. So as we know that this shift has happened, and as we are in this post-pandemic society where people don't necessarily want to meet face-to-face anymore, right? We went through years of not meeting face-to-face. And now it's this shift where one, people aren't in the office, or two, they might be working hybrid, or three, they might be working remote from a beach or some other part of the country somewhere. And four, they're working on a really lean staff. So their hours are very limited and don't necessarily have the time to meet with reps as they did before. So the same problem keeps coming up in conversation over and over when I talk to reps. How do we stay relevant? If we can't get appointments, what do we do? If we can't get in front of them, how do we show our product? And if they don't respond, what do we do? Now, today, I don't necessarily have the right answer, but I do have a few things that I think people should start trying. Now, the first thing that is really tied between 5 different things that I want to tell you today is partnerships. Now, I've seen a rise in non-competing reps and companies partnering, but there's definitely more room for partnerships as we continue to move forward in 2025 and beyond. And what I mean by partnerships is finding non-competing companies to partner with so that you can pair up to share contact lists, to share strategies, and really to create design experiences and product experiences that will be beneficial to your customer. When I went to BD&Y in 2024, one of the things that I saw done really well, but not frequently, was partnered booths. So say, for example, a textile booth, a furniture booth, a wall covering booth, and an art company all come together to create one immersive experience to show how their products can collaboratively be styled together. The benefit for them is, one, they save costs, they save money in putting this together. And the benefit for the designer is they're able to easily imagine how those products can go together in an amazing space. And they already have 4 brands right in front of them at their fingertips to start engaging with and to start specifying. Now, how can this be done outside of the trade show? So, of course, your first step is to find those non-competing brands that complement your company. And if they are a sister company, that's even better. But if not, do your due diligence of going to networking events that are local to you through organizations like ASID, IIDA, and shout out to NEWH, which I'm on the board for, researching other people online, and really building community through LinkedIn. So once you find those partnerships and complementary companies that would be great for partnerships, what do you do outside of the trade show that could look amazing and engaging and innovative to the designer? So the first thing, of course, would be to create engaging digital presentations. Now, you're probably like, okay, Nicole, people are all zoomed out. I don't want to do another digital presentation. But I want you to think outside of the box on what digital presentations could look like. Now, typically, of course, when people think digital presentation, they are thinking a Zoom call or a Teams call or Google Meet, which is all fine and dandy. But some of the other tools that exist out there, of course, are LinkedIn. There are live LinkedIn presentations. There are audio rooms. There are shorts that you can actually publish on LinkedIn. There is Instagram, which is still a very viable social media platform. I was going to say TikTok, but that's a very touch and go subject at the moment. So if you just decide to stick to LinkedIn and Instagram, where there are millions, if not billions of users on those platforms, think about all the ways that you can create digital collaborative content to get in front of the audience that you want. Now, when it comes to Instagram, all the ways that you can create digital presentations are through all the different content types. You can create imagery. You can create a reel. You can create a story with different overlays and GIFs and polls. You can create collaborative content, which is super cool. So I believe it was last year that Instagram added a new plugin where if you post something, you can invite somebody to collaborate. So say if you were a rep, you posted something on your page and then you invited your non-competing rep to collaborate on that post with you, the post would then be seen by both of your audiences. Now, of course, there's work that you guys both need to do to actually build your audience and make sure that your clientele are actually following you and engaging with you. And that is a whole other episode. But that's just one way to make sure that you are engaging with your audience and doing digital presentations. So if I was a rep, again, and I was to do a new product showcase, I would be creating one long form video to do a digital presentation and splitting it up into different reels that and shorts that can be shared on LinkedIn and on Instagram. And if I posted it on Instagram, I would be doing a collaborative post with a non-competing rep. Now, I know I said that super fast, and that was a lot of information. If it went over your head, that means you need to call me and we need to talk so that I can help you. So that's one idea. The second idea is to develop a sample subscription program. So think about creating a system where you can periodically send curated product samples to your designers based on their preferences or current projects. Now, this could even be something that you don't even necessarily have to create your own. Of course, a lot of designers right now are using Material Bank and similar platforms like Mercado and all the things. So even if you didn't do a sample subscription program that your company created, you can allow people to subscribe to a newsletter that you do and tell them you're going to do a sample board of the month or sample board of the quarter that, again, ties in your non-competing product partnerships that you're going to find. And then within that, just send them the picture, send them the links to where to order the samples from. And this is something that you can do DIY. You can create the board on platforms like Mercado or Material Bank, and then make sure that everything is easily linked so that people can order samples from you, that you can track the information, that you can easily follow up with the client after they receive their samples for their project. But it all starts with allowing them to opt in to gain new inspiration. And the key here, no matter which type of engagement that you're doing as we're going through these, is that you're offering value to your customer in a way that might help them in their project. What I don't want you to do is just send random samples. I know when I was a rep, a lot of the times I would hear from designers like, when you get a new update, just please make sure you don't send it to us immediately. Allow us to choose. So what I don't want you to do is create sample boxes and randomly send them to people every time you come out with a product line. They hate that. I've heard it probably thousands of times with all the designers that I do. But instead, think of some way that is maybe paperless or digital, right? I'm all about digital experiences that really create value and get a designer engaged in some way. Even to go back to the first example that we did, if you created a sample subscription program, you can create a little teaser or snippet that you're sharing through a digital experience on social media to gain people's interest so that they subscribe to your newsletter to get these sample inspiration boards every month. Okay, I can go down the tangent on that, but those are two examples. So the first example that we talked about today is just creating engaging digital presentations on social media. The second thing that we just talked about is developing a sample subscription program. And the third thing that I'm going to repeat from another episode that we talked about is leveraging social media to build a personal brand. Now, I say this not from my own thoughts or my own inspiration or what I think you should be doing, but because social selling is on the rise. There are tons and tons of stats out there about why social selling is important for sales reps, especially outside sales reps, and how social selling actually helps you boost your revenue for your own budget that you're trying to hit. So outside of sharing value-driven information about the company that you rep and about the products that you represent, it's very important for you to build a personal brand. These specifiers want to know who you are, want to connect with you, want to, share interesting stories with you, because at the end of the day, they are going to specify you, yes, because you have a great product, and yes, because the product performs and looks the way that you told them it was going to look. But at the end of the day, they want to connect with humans. we are in a human-centered industry in the interior design world. So why not humanize the content that you are creating online? So in order to do that, of course, I can do probably 10 episodes on building your personal brand on social media, but I just want you to do something simple. And that's to share regular value-driven content on platforms like Instagram, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. For example, post your own design inspirations, post your project case studies on and how you felt about it. It's important to gain empathy with your customers. Do client success stories, but not only like, this is what my client said, but maybe go to their office and interview them. Do a collaborative post with them on Instagram or LinkedIn. Share a day in your life. Share what it's like beyond your work hours so that you can seem a little bit personable. What are your hobbies? What brings you joy? I know recently I shared a personal update of my life on LinkedIn and Instagram, and that was probably the most engagement that I've received on social media in a very long time. And that actually led me, myself, to get an uptick in discovery calls for new services for my business. So it's something that works, and it's not something that you should be doing just because, okay, you want to get engagement or you have a goal in mind, but it's really, if you really care about your people that you're serving and creating personal connections that ultimately drive meaningful relationships that will ultimately, of course, drive revenue, but that revenue is tied to, for you, the built environment and creating beautiful spaces that will be meaningful to the people that dwell in them. So just think about that and just make sure that you be consistent in it, even if it's just building your personal brand for 5 minutes, 2 times per week. Okay? The next thing that I want you guys to do is to really think about email marketing and newsletters. So if you all had been on TikTok, I know I was barely on TikTok, but recently TikTok actually was banned by the United States government and it actually went away, but shorter than we expected. And who knows when you'll be listening to this episode, it could be 2 years from when I am actually recording. So who knows what the latest will be on TikTok. But as of right now, in February 2025, 2 weeks ago, TikTok went down for a few hours and everybody was in a tizzy. But the thing that it taught us the most, even though it came back, is that we don't own these social media platforms. So even though I'm saying all of these things like create digital experiences on social media, build your personal brand on social media, the goal is not to keep people on social media. It's actually to move them along your sales funnel to ultimately drive specifications and drive sales. But in order to do that, you have to own their information. And that sounds kind of bad, but you have to own their information. And the easiest way to own your clientele information is to get them on an email list. Now, this might sound rudimentary to some brands, but there are many brands that I have worked with over the course of the 6 years that I've been in business that have not had an email list and didn't understand the importance of an email list before I started working with them. And I drive in importance because think about if TikTok went away, if Instagram went away, if LinkedIn went away, if all the social media platforms went away, how would you market to your audience? You would need their information. Now, email list is the most basic form. There's also text marketing, which is really on the rise right now that has higher open rates for platforms like Community and other platforms. But let's just stick to email marketing right now. So say you start putting all of this information into motion after we get off of this podcast. Now, the goal, create digital experiences, build your personal brand on social media. Now, you always want to have a call to action for people to join your email list so that they can gain some value from your company or from you as a rep. Maybe you're a multi-line rep and you're very entrepreneurial and need to build your email list as well. So give them an incentive to join your email list so that they can gain value. What value are you going to bring them? You're going to bring them partnerships with other non-competing brands so that you can share inspiration, design inspiration, new products, behind the scenes, technical information, maybe continuing education, all the things. That's just a tidbit. And when you own those emails, every now and then somebody might unsubscribe. But if you can keep it consistent, concise, and valuable, you'll be able to market to those people over and over and over again and move them along your sales funnel. Now, I can probably do another episode about just designing your sales funnel as a rep, both digitally and in person, but I might save that for later during this season. But let's just recap of what we talked about today. The problem that we've been facing in our industry is, how do we stay relevant? How do we get in front of designers? There's limited time. There's limited face time. We want to stay top of mind. Now, of course, I didn't have the perfect solution for you guys today, but I hope that you gained some inspiration from these examples of creating digital experiences, developing a sample subscription program, leveraging social media to build a personal brand, and developing an insider newsletter through your email marketing campaigns. So I hope you took so much information away from this today. And if you want to continue the conversation and how the Thrive in Design team can help you and your company implement all of these things, please reach out, head to www.thriveindesign.co and schedule a discovery call with me. And I look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks for joining us this week on Thrive in Design. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Thrive in Design. And for more strategies on how your product company can innovate in the interior design industry, head to training.thriveindesign.co. As always, subscribe to the show to catch every new episode and leave us a review so we can continue to create captivating content. See you next week.